Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas, and we got some very, very big thank you for some of you out there.
Thank you to Jonathan Echevarria of Worcester, Massachusetts, for his WWE SmackDown Worcester, Mass. 11x17 poster purchase. To Ty Schaefer of North Aurora, Illinois, for picking up the Sasha Banks limited edition WrestleMania 35 autograph photo. To William Fent of Chandler, Illinois, for the autographed Superfly Jimmy Snuka WWE photo file photo. To Eli Rosado of Garnerville, New York, for the Tony Atlas autographed Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant drawing print. To Blake Fobian of Los Cruces, New Mexico, for the Finn Balor Bulletproof WWE Shop t-shirt bundle. To Peter Dabrowski of Waterbury, Connecticut, for having Tony create an original 18x24 drawing for him. To George Farmer of Beckley, West Virginia, for purchasing the one-of-a-kind Macho Man Randy Savage 18x24-inch Tony Atlas drawing. To Ralph DeVito of West Long Branch, New Jersey, for the Io Shirai NXT In Your House autographed poster purchase. To George Tlatelpa of Brooklyn, New York, for the Jeff Hardy WrestleMania 35 autograph photo. To Brandon Amoyet of Joliet, Illinois, for the Bray Wyatt 18x14 autograph drawing. To Caitlin Heck of Didymer, Missouri, for the AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson autograph WrestleMania 36 8x10 photo. To Dwayne Hoffman of Piedmont, South Carolina, for both the Bray Wyatt Yowie Wowie WWE t-shirt bundle and the Edge WWE t-shirt bundle. To Mark Hester of Des Moines, Iowa, for the Tony Atlas autographed Legion of Doom 18x17-inch drawing print. To Austin Brown of Lincoln, Illinois, for the Johnny Gargano autographed 11x14 autograph poster. To Nasbia Miller of Sumter, South Carolina, for the Jake the Snake Roberts WWE Shop t-shirt bundle. To Todd Pate of Knoxville, Tennessee, for the Lacey Evans autographed 11x14-inch poster. And to Charles Holt of Raleigh, North Carolina, for the Undisputed Era autographed 11x14 poster. All of these great fans not only picked up awesome rare merchandise on our eBay store, but are directly helping keep wrestling legends like Tony Atlas, Marty Jannetty, and more working during the worst of times with such limited live events and autograph signings to participate in during coronavirus. Check out the link to our eBay store in the description box below, and again, thank you.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, whether you're a wrestling fan, if you're a fan of life, if you're a fan of Dear Abby, Dr. Phil, I don't know what else to call this, Tony. We had so much fun on the first episode. I could not believe the fan response to what your thoughts on life in general.
Oh, hell.
And we put it up on Twitter and Facebook for more questions. Tony, we have a slew of them. We only have a certain amount of time tonight, but we're certainly going to go through them one by one.
Okay, let's get one on.
I think Diane Kane of Woburn, Massachusetts is ready to castrate her husband after that story, or your response to her story about the husband urinating in the sink.
Well, it's disrespectful.
It was disrespectful.
Of course it is.
Right.
She got to clean that. Your wife got enough work to do. You should help your wife around the house to keep things clean, make things easier. You know what I learned from helping the wife out?
What did you learn?
More fun in the bedroom.
Whoa, wait, now, wait.
Where she's not tired.
All right,
she's not frustrated.
We got some youngins in the control room.
Well,
Tony.
they're going to get married one
day.
day, too, and they should know that when you try to use a teacher. Teach them while they're young. Don't wait till they get old farts and destroy so many women's lives before they learn something like I did.
Gabe Gift Garrison and the Prodigy.
Yeah, it's good to help the wife out around the house.
All right, Tony, we only have, I know we have a very important call to make. Let's try and get through as many of these as we can.
Okay.
Tony, I'm engaged to get married next spring, even with life being uncertain due to the virus. Recently, I went back to work while my fiance was working from home. One night, I happened to use his laptop, and when searching his browser history, I came across an obscene amount of internet searches for HLA while I was at work. Should I confront him? Is this something I should accept he'll do in his spare time? Is it better than him having an actual affair? Signed, Lisa McLaughlin. Now, do you think she should be upset about this, HLA?
I think yes, but when you confront him, do it in a civilized manner. Because when you attack somebody, you put that person on the defense, and you get nowhere.
Yeah.
You put them on the defense, you get nowhere. You just ask him straight out, say, can I do that?
You think she should ask her fiance if she
Can
can
she do the same thing?
for hot lesbian action?
Right. So.
Really?
Well, no. If it's not okay to him for her to do it, it should not be okay for him to do it. See, I tell every woman, any place your husband go that you can't go, he shouldn't be there. When you're going to be a couple, like I tell my wife this all the time, there's no Tony, there's no Monica, it's us. You are as one. And he should put all of his attention and love and towards the woman that he's going to marry. I mean, once you see, women always obligate themselves to us guys. Mm-hmm. Guys feel like this old saying, they want to have the cake and eat it too. When you with a woman, you got to cut other women out of your life, because all you're doing is destroying that woman's self-esteem. Mm. You destroying her. Ain't no woman want to see her man gawking at another woman. When I take my wife out to dinner, all my attention is on my wife. I don't sit at the dinner table with my wife gawking and drooling at the mouth for every woman that walk by. When I'm with my wife, I'm with my wife. When I'm away from my wife, I tell other women, you take women, even women that walk on me, I say, well, you know, I'm married. I talk about my wife all the time. You know this. I'm not, you know, I ain't gonna do nothing to my wife or in front of my wife that I wouldn't want my wife to do. Now, what if she got to ask herself, what if she done that? How would he feel about it?
Well, I'm going to guess if he is, as she wrote, searching for obscene amounts of hot lesbian action, maybe he'd like it if she was looking for it online.
Well, no, he shouldn't be looking at any other woman.
Lesbians.
No, you don't do that. You don't do that to these women. You expect these women to put up with bad behavior. You destroying her self-esteem. You shouldn't have your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance fighting another woman for your affection. I watched Jerry Springer with these women out there fighting over this guy. The guy there, he's laughing at both of them. And then how they do fight, I don't want neither one of them. Then they really look stupid. You know, women's got to learn to believe that they deserve better than this. If a guy do that to my wife, to my daughter, I punch him out.
You wouldn't want your son-in-law looking at lesbians.
I wouldn't want my son-in-law to look at nobody but his wife. Why is he getting married? There's nothing wrong with chasing women. I did it. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of affairs with women. I did it. But when you get married, or when you get engaged, or when you are committed to one person, you have to be committed to that one person. You know, it's fair. No man want a woman to do that to them. No. Ain't no man gonna put up with that. No. But we expect women to put up with it. I mean, I don't want my wife looking at naked guys on the computer. I don't. And why would my wife accept me looking at naked women on the computer? And I say, oh, it's just porn. But I got to look at another woman to get turned on. Where you know what happening, ladies? While he's having sex with you, he's thinking about that woman he saw on the porn.
He's thinking about these lesbians.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on, he got to be more. We have to learn how to. Woman is God's gift to man. God's gift to man. And you should treat your woman as a gift. And if you treat her that way, I did that with my wife, and my wife stuck with me through thick and thin. And I'm not easy to live with. But because of the respect I gave her, I never disrespected my wife in public. All them women that he texts, that he look at, they laughing at his wife. They said, what idiot is married to this guy? He's just making his wife look bad.
To answer Lisa's final question, though, is it better than him having an actual affair?
No, emotionally, physically, it don't matter. It's the same thing. You taking from her and giving to another, no matter how you slice it. Right. You getting emotionally, sexually turned on by someone else other than your wife. You ask another woman to do something for you instead of getting it from your wife. It don't matter if it's physically or emotionally. And what a lot of people don't know, emotionally hurts a lot. Physically, like you punch me in the face, the next day the pain gone away from a punch.
Right.
You hurt me emotionally, it stayed with me forever. It don't go away. So he hurting her worse. He making her feel less than what she is. That he have to go to another woman instead of him. No matter how you say, you asking another woman for something.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think maybe Lisa should reconsider marrying this man?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to determine that.
He should just stop looking for lesbians on the internet.
I was that away. The people know this. I don't mind saying that. I was addicted to drugs. Mm-hmm. My wife put her foot down. She said, either the dope got to go or I'm going to go. You choose who you want to be with, the dope man or with me. And I looked at where I was going with the dope man, which was nowhere, and I look at where I was going with Monica. If it wasn't for my wife, I would have OD'd maybe 30 years ago. So I tell my wife all the time, the last 30 years of my life, I owe to my wife, Monica. When I was at the Hall of Fame, thank you, Mr. McMahon, Vince put my wife on tape because you hear the story of how my wife saved my life. If you treat a woman the right way, you would be glad in the long run. You'd be glad. What if your father had done that to your mother? Will you like that? What if your daughter, boyfriend do that to your daughter? Will you like that? So why would you do that to your children's mother and do that to her parents' child? You destroying a person internally with hurt and lasts a lot longer. Because if you abuse her that way, even if she don't marry him, she's gonna take abuse from another one.
Someone else.
It's abuse. She's being mentally, emotionally abused. Abuse is not always physical, like people think.
No, not at all.
It could be emotional.
Mentally.
And that's why women have such low self-esteem, because us guys do things to women and expect the woman to accept it. But you let her go out and do half of that with him. You watch the difference. He blow a freaking fuse. He blow a fuse. If he walk in the house and see a guy just sitting there talking to her when he's not home, he's gonna blow a fuse. But he want to get on. No, you shouldn't do that. No.
No lesbian action.
No action. I don't care if it's lesbian, straight, gay. I don't give a red ass.
No action.
No action with other females.
All right.
Or else you're not ready yet.
Well, hopefully Lisa.
She probably ready, but he ain't.
He's too immature for marriage, maybe.
I wouldn't say he's immature. I don't know the man, but I just know, just from what you said, I just know what I would do. I wouldn't do a woman like that. I would not destroy a woman emotionally like that.
We have another question from Wendy G, Tony. As marijuana use becomes legal and more acceptable here in Massachusetts, should I discuss my own use with my kids? Is it okay to smoke in front of them?
No.
All right, well, explain.
No. Marijuana, even though it's legal, it have everything got good and bad in it. Everything got good and bad in it. Marijuana slows down your learning process. It makes you unambitious. You got to realize it's a relaxer. Mm-hmm. So it take away a person's ambition. When I was lifting weights, I learned from just lifting weights that if I smoke a joint and go work out, I'm not as aggressive in the gym and when I'm not doing it. You know, anybody that do dope, once you do dope, you don't want to do nothing. So you get your kids to be a little pothead at a very, very young age, then it take away their aggressiveness to do. Nothing wrong with her smoking pot. My mother never drank in front of us. I think a parent should not try to be a child friend, but more or less be a child leader and teacher.
So you don't think Wendy should be smoking the gimmick with her son?
No.
No. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Lack of motivation in life.
Well, not only that, pot could easily be a gateway drug to other stuff.
Big time, and I agree
It
with
could
that.
easily do that. I
110%.
started off with pot, end up with cocaine, so it can be a gateway drug. She should study the effect of pot first before she introduce it, do it with her kid. Some people feel it's best to do it with them than without. But
I couldn't imagine wanting to smoke marijuana with the kids.
no,
I wouldn't know. I've never done it either way, but I mean, I could not imagine saying, "Come on, kids, let's light one."
I think all that stuff should be private. There's certain things that parents got to keep private for the kids.
Yeah.
Just like there's certain things kids should get private. Now I know my mother has sex with my dad. That's how I was born, but she never did it in front of us.
You would hope.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and my dad would go out to the bar and have a few drinks. I knew he had been drinking, but I didn't see him drinking.
He
And
get
that's
away
why
from
we
the
grew up
home.
with respect for our parents. By her doing that, he's going to lose respect for her. He's going to look at her as one of the guys, one of the boys, one of his buddies.
Yeah.
And then she's going to lose all her authoritarian stuff with her. It's a slippery slope because, like I say, it's legal. Alcohol is legal too, but you want to get drunk with your kids? You know, it's certain things that we have to keep among ourselves. You don't have to share everything with your kids that you do. You know, tell them what need to be told, do what need to be done, but don't, you know, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just something I wouldn't do.
You wouldn't do it.
I
Well,
just
they're
wouldn't do
asking
it.
for your advice.
Even now, because I know little kids see me on TV, and if I'm in a restaurant or the bar or something, a little kid come up and want an autograph, if I got a beer or something on the table, I would take that beer off the table and I put it on the table.
Respect.
Well, I don't want that kid to see me drink. That kid look at me as a hero.
Right.
So when the mother come and try to tell the kid, don't do this, it's bad for the kids. Well, Tony Atlas do it. So I'm not hip. I'm making it harder for that parent to teach the kid the right way. So parent's job is to teach. If she want to smoke pot, do it, but don't do it in front of your
with
kid.
them.
No.
All right. Tony, I'm going to try and make it through
No,
this.
they're 30 or 40 years old, and that's different. They grown.
No.
They grown there, you know.
I'm going to try and make it through this next one, Tony. I almost think that this individual might need our one of our director, Matt Socks. An anonymous email. It said, Tony, my wife absolutely hates Halloween and has tried to get kids to stop coming every year. She would shut the house lights off, but the car would get egged by teenagers late at night. In 2018, she gave out individual packets of Quaker Oats oatmeal in hoping the kids would skip our house, but they came back last year. Will the virus stop kids from coming this year? What kind of candy do you give out? Now, this is a woman that gave out packets of oatmeal to try and get these kids to stop coming. At what lengths would you go to realize that maybe this is a lost cause?
Well, this is a free country.
Yeah.
She got a right to celebrate what she want to celebrate and not what she celebrate. The kids that egged her car have bad parenting. That's bad parenting. When a child don't get what he wants and he decides to damage property, them kids to me are no different than the protester painting and tearing up them buildings. We don't like it when they do it to these buildings. I don't like it when you damage somebody's car. The egg could damage the paint. There's a lot of stuff the egg could do to that car. It could get down in between the door and everything. It cause damage. You know, you got all that computer work.
Financial damage.
Yeah, financial damage. Just because she don't want to celebrate and give your little brat a piece of candy, don't give you the right to vitalize this lady. Yes, she got a right, and the husband should stand with his wife. She stand with him, with his stuff. Men, us guys, we have to learn how to stand with our wives. This is what your wife wants.
Yeah.
Them kids don't live with you. They're not your kids. And you should go around and find out, and put a camera. No, I would put a camera up there, what she would do. And for every kid that did that, I would have them over in the morning washing that car.
Report it to the police, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I would go to the parent, the parents of the child, and said, your child has no right to vandalize my car. Every American got the right to celebrate what they want to celebrate. And because they don't want to go along, don't want to go along with what I want, I don't have the right to vandalize you or to cause any of your property any type of damage. He should not be worrying about his wife. His wife ain't doing nothing wrong. She's doing what she feels that she's happy with.
She just doesn't want trick-or-treaters.
She don't like trick-or-treat. She don't like Halloween. I don't like Halloween, so I'm with her on that. But what the husband should be more worried about, instead of his wife and how she feels, he should be more worried about these kids. Because if they throwing eggs at her house because they don't get what they want, they're going to be throwing rocks at their house when they get older, because it's something mentally wrong with a child that will attack another person just because they don't get what they want. That's a serious problem. He's looking at in the wrong picture. He's looking at his wife. You should look at them kids. If they do that to your property, and you being a husband supposed to protect your wife and property, you're not a good husband.
Tony, do you think maybe
you let them do that to my house, I'd be at their house.
Do you think they went a little too far giving out individual packets of Quaker Oats oatmeal?
No.
I've never heard of someone giving out oatmeal.
What? Look. My mother had an old saying. This is what my mom used to say. What kids do when they go around and get the candy? They're bagging, right? My mother said baggers cannot be choicy. See? Y'all not focused on the damage. Them kids gonna grow up to be hoodlums. They're hoodlums.
What do you think these kids did with the oatmeal?
Yeah, but you see, them kids, my mother had another old saying, if I can get you to stop laughing. That's cute at 2, but not at 20. If they not learning how to respect people's property at that age now, there's nothing funny about that. Them kids, when they become grown up, they're gonna do the same thing, but they don't get their way.
You think even though it was oatmeal, they should respect they got something?
I think you are trying to draw the focus to the wrong thing. The focus should be on the kids.
I'm just going by the question.
I understand, but you keep going back to what the woman did with the oatmeal, but you're ignoring the big thing. The big thing, they damage your property. How much what the average car cost? You talk about a $50,000 car, brother. Screw the freaking oatmeal. This is a $50,000 car that these little shithead of a brat is throwing eggs on and getting away with it. And the woman is taking all the heat for what the kids is doing. She didn't egg the car.
Do you think maybe there are communities that should come up with plans for folks that don't want to do trick-or-treat?
No, I think it's a community that parents should raise their kids to be respectful to people, even if they get candy or not. I didn't throw eggs at somebody because they didn't have nothing to give or they don't want to celebrate. No. There's a lot of people that don't want to do what I want to do. I'm not going to egg somebody because they don't want to go to the gym with me, or vitalize somebody because they don't want to lift weights with me, or look down on people because they don't want to get stepped on. Is these kids, but what they're not looking at, what I saw in there is how them kids are. They've shown you if they don't get their way, what they would do. So 10 years now, them same kids, if somebody don't stop them and they don't get their way, they're going to be shooting at her house.
There's going to be bullets. Right.
There's going to be bullets instead of eggs. Yes. If you don't stop it now, these are bad kids to do that. That's horrible for a child to vandalize a person's property and the parents sit back and laugh and think it's a freaking joke.
Over a 10-cent piece of candy.
Over a piece of candy.
Yeah.
A $50,000 car you're going to vandalize over a piece of 10 cents candy.
I'm sorry I found the oatmeal part so amusing, but I've never heard of it before.
I don't see my mother used to have always say, fuck the dumb shit.
All right, Tony, this is I'm interested to see your opinion on this one. Tony, what do you do with a daughter's useless boyfriend? When the quarantine began, my wife and I reluctantly moved my daughter's lazy boyfriend for an undetermined period of time. We want our daughter to be safe and healthy, but every night he waits to be served meals and never helps with the dishes or contributes to the cost of the food. At night when we're relaxing watching TV, he goes to her room to wait for her to be alone, and we can hear noises late at night. What can we do to keep our daughter safe without risking her leaving if we toss the bum? We might need you to come over and body slam him. Signed, Mr. Gradowski in Everett.
It's too late.
Now, what do you mean?
They had a chance to raise her properly and they didn't.
So it's her fault she chose a bum.
No, it's the parents' fault for raising their daughter not to respect the wishes of the parent. That's what happens when parents try to be their friend instead of trying to be their parent. That daughter is disrespecting their mother.
By allowing it.
That daughter is threatening their mother, I will leave you if I don't get my way. Go right back to the kids with the candy again. That's what we did to our kids. We spoiled them. We became their friends instead of their parent. I would never take a woman in my mother's house. I wouldn't disrespect my mother home that way. I would not do that. We was raised not to do that. We was raised to respect our parents' home, to respect our parents. That daughter had absolutely no respect. They looking at the boyfriend. The daughter chose them. The daughter chose him. So if they kick him out, she's going to get another one just like him. She has no respect for her mother because her mother and her parent spoiled the hell out of her when she was young. My mother said, you make your bed, you have to lie in it. The only thing going to change that girl, she's going to go through a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment. That girl is going to be in her 30s before she learned her lesson because she can't learn it from her parent. They had their chance to teach her properly. When you allow a child, when the first time they let that boy stay there the first night, it was all over.
Do you think
they open up Pandora's box? You can't put the lid back on. There's nothing to do now. The daughter have to learn on her own now.
Should they have set down ground rules before he moved in?
Too late.
But should they have?
Yes, they should have, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. They did not teach their daughter to be a respectable young lady. They let her have her way. It starts with this. I said it 1,000 times. You sat at a table with a 3-year-old child. You turn to that 3-year-old child. What do you want to eat? Stupid. What in the hell a 3-year-old know? And you asking a 3-year-old what they want to eat? You're not smart enough to know how to teach that kid what is properly for to eat. That's why over 30% of teenagers are diabetic. That's why.
What's the percentage?
About 40% of America is obese.
40%?
Of Americans are obese.
Really?
Look at all these little fat kids running around here. Come on, Dad, you're not blind.
In the control
Come on, everyone you see has got the little love handle, all got that baby fat all over them. Lazy as hell, don't want to do anything physically, never did a hard day's work a day in their life, won't clean their room, won't do no chores around the house, mother busting their ass, their father busting their ass, kid laying around playing freaking video games all day long, mother buying them everything they want, you know, ungrateful little brats. But they raised them. It's not the child's fault. It's not the daughter's fault. They raised her that way. They may have talked to her, but they didn't allow it to happen.
At this point, if you were the dad, would you toss the boyfriend?
It's too late. The girl gonna leave with him. It's too late. She old enough to have a boy. How old is she anyway?
They didn't give an age.
Yeah. Any parent that let their daughter date under the age of 16 should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, I agree with that.
You should be ashamed of yourself. If she under 16, that family should be ashamed of themselves to raise that girl to be a little slut.
Well, I can imagine that they did right at night when we're relaxing, watching TV. He goes to her room to wait for her to be alone.
Why do you let another man live in their house?
And we can hear noises.
Why would they do that? That is stupid. Why would you let another guy lay in your house? He gonna knock her up or give her freaking AIDS or something.
In their house.
In their house.
Almost like At Your House, the name of our regular show.
Look, if a man is not able to take care of himself, he's definitely unable to take care of anyone else. What if that girl get pregnant? Who's gonna take care of the baby? The grandparent gonna take care of the baby.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. And then if the guy end up being in the penitentiary or something like that, or why you allowing your daughter to be with a scumbag? He's a scumbag, and you allowing it to stay in your house? If a guy come to my house and lay around, I wouldn't let that happen anyway. I wouldn't let that happen.
You wouldn't have let it begin.
It would have never started with me. No freaking way would I let some guy come and lay up with my daughter. If she ain't old enough to be on her own, she's too young to be with him. We got to start spoiling our kids. You can't let a child have everything they want, because then they grow up and they're gonna want what they want, and they don't give a red ass what you say. Evidently, the daughter don't care what the parents say. She don't have no respect for their parents. None. Zero. Zilch. But I bet you, if you asked her, what you want to eat, that's where it starts. You're giving the kid authority over you when you ask. My mother didn't ask us nothing.
She told you what you were going to have for dinner.
She said, when you get on your own and you're big enough to pay your own bills and take care of yourself, you make your own decision. But while you're under my roof, you go by my rules.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Tony, we had one more. Tony, when taking my daily walks, I notice people are not social distancing as they were last spring, getting closer and closer, sometimes not fully covering their faces with masks completely over their face. How do I confront these strangers that we're both at risk of catching the virus?
Leave them alone. They're not going to listen to you. Every person got a suicidal attendant. Just sing flower to their funeral, because they're going to die. Plain and simple. They're going to die. We got 1,000 people a year dying. Because it ain't hit you yet, don't mean it won't hit. 1,000 people a day in this country is dying from this virus. 190,000 people are dead. And you can't change what anybody else do. When I wrote my book, I put in my book, my success in life, I owe to thousands of people. My success. My failure in life, I owe to one person, for I am the captain of my own ship. I can't change what somebody else do. I can only take care of me. And take care of me is a full-time job. But if you see other people that care so little about their neighbor, care so little about themselves, then what you got to say to them is going to fall on deaf ears. They're not going to listen to you. They don't believe in the virus. They don't believe it's deadly. They don't believe they're going to die from it. They don't believe it's going to bother them. So all you're going to do is upset yourself. Let every person live their life the way they live it. Because if you try to intervene, only thing going to happen is they're going to turn on you and attack you. It's kind of like a policeman told me one time. He went to this house and the boyfriend was beating the crap out of his girlfriend. So the policeman jumped on the guy and the policeman got into a little struggle. Well, the girl jumped on the police too. So that cop could not help this woman from being abused by her husband.
Her own worst enemy.
A lot of times we are our own worst enemy. And it was another thing that my dad taught me. You can't argue with stupid. Once you find out a person is stupid, don't try to argue with them. And it takes a smart man to play dumb, and it takes a dumb man to play smart. And I meet young people, ain't even fully grown yet, been on earth 20 years or less. They would argue with me on life that I live. They wasn't even born during that time. But they're going to put up an argument. They stupid. Mm-hmm. So I talk to them the best I can, but you can't force a person to learn if they don't want to learn. We got the greatest education system in the world, in the United States. You send 10 kids to school, maybe 3 of them kids come out learning something. Maybe 3 come out learning nothing. But that's that child's choice. That child don't want to learn. Mm-hmm. This child want to learn. You got the same teacher that always say, oh, it's the school, it's the teacher. No, it's your kid. He don't want to learn. How can Johnny learn, Susie learn, and Mike learn nothing? And they're all sitting in the same classroom. Mike don't want to learn. Mike's parents taught him, you don't have to listen to the teacher. You don't have to listen to the doctors. You don't have to listen to the media. This is the dumbest thing over here in my life. The media report what happens. It already happened. What, you want the media not to tell you nothing? You want to be put in a freaking cave where you know nothing? We already consider some of the dumbest people on earth. I mean, nobody look at America as being smart. We never have been the tower of intelligence to no country. We got more uneducated people in America than any civilized country in the world because we have to pay for our education. There's more educated people in Canada than are in America. Because we got more stupid people in America than we got smart people. Look at all that we do. We're not the smartest people in the world. We may think we're smarter than everybody else, but we're not. What we rank in math and science, like 28 or something? I mean, our kids can't compete with the other kids in nothing. Look at kids come from the Orient. They outdo us left and right. You got people raised up in this country, live here their whole life, have every opportunity, got nothing to show for it. Another kid come from Africa, ain't never had nothing. All of a sudden, he got his own convenience store.
Yeah.
And they would say, well, because the government, no, the government gave him the same opportunity gave you. The only thing different between him and you, he took advantage of it. You talk about, oh, illegal immigration, they're coming here taking all the jobs we don't want to do. In order for somebody from Mexico to come and take a job here in America, that job first got to be vacant. If somebody were working that job, the guy from Mexico couldn't get it. We got to raise our kids to know the importance of education, to know the importance of world knowledge. Most Americans know nothing about the rest, anything outside the United States. They know nothing about Canada. They know nothing about Europe. They know nothing about Mexico. Nothing about nothing. Just their own little environment. And what really gets me, and when people tell me this, well, President Trump did more for black people than any president ever lived in the world.
And what do you think?
Right.
What do you think he did?
I'm black. They telling me this.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
What did he do?
That's the big question. What? He ain't. It's just words. But people believe it. They believe it. You see what I'm saying? Because they stupid. You can't argue with stupid.
No.
Once you meet a stupid person, they man are made up. They man are made up to believe the way they want to believe. You could hear somebody say something, and then they say, well, he said it. Well, no, he didn't. Well, he mean this, or he meant that. No, he didn't mean what you said. He meant what he said. I see it all the time. They try to change what a person say into their thoughts. No, if they come out of that person's mouth, that's what that person believes. That person is not going to say nothing they don't mean. And while you try to brush it up, clean it up, and make it something else, you just make yourself look stupid. We need to, the thing that have never been pushed in this country since I was a young'un is education. You remember how we said here, we talk about wrestling, we talk about football, we talk about sports, we talk about politics, we talk about everything but the power of education. There was a time in this country where black people will refuse education. Why is that? Why they refuse black people to learn? What was it so much about learning that we couldn't have that ability? The reason that they didn't want us to have that ability in the olden days because education is power. It ain't the guy with the biggest arms or the best bench press. It's the guy that got the best degree. It's the guy that got the education. They're going to be the guy that's going to run this world in the future. Well, when my dad, he didn't have no education. He had a 6th education. Yeah, but that was in 1940. That was in 1950, 1960. You're not living in your father's time. Well, them days are gone.
What do you think right now, Tony? One of our techies in the back, Griff Garrison, he right now is just started college freshman. He is going to the campus one day a week, and the rest of the week it's all online. Do you think that's difficult for these kids?
A little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing.
Like the kids that got oatmeal
at least
for Halloween.
How you pursue your education is unimportant. How you get to the end of the tunnel is unimportant as long as you get there. He's doing what is necessary to do right now. It may not be the way he wanted to be. It may not be the way that it should be. But it is what it is right now. He could make the excuse, he could use the coronavirus not to do nothing. But he chose to go to one day a week and do the rest of the work on the computer. There's nothing wrong with that. If
well,
that's
the
what
school chose it.
Well, it's nothing wrong with it because at least he's doing it. Now, if he go home and mess around and don't do what he's supposed to do on the computer, that's on him.
Could be like that guy in the first question we had, looking up the HLA.
That's on him. Yeah, we all got opportunity to be successful in this world. There is nobody in America that had been denied the opportunity to be successful. No one. We make our own decision. We are the captain of our own ship. You can decide to be a success and work hard and make something out of yourself, or you could not. But the world had got to the place now where we all looking for someone else to take care of us. We're all looking for somebody to do for us. We had lost the ability to do for ourselves. In the Bible now, I didn't write it, self-preservation come first. The law helped those who help themselves. A man must work by the sweat of his brow. And I didn't write none of that.
You read it.
And that's how we should be as men and as women, because now it's not just a man's world anymore. It's a human world. Man, woman, black, white, Asian, and Spanish work in this great country to make this country great. There's not no one race of people or no one gender that make America great, that have made America great, and never have been that way, and never will be that way. Nobody could do it alone. We all need help from each and every American to make the country great. Your neighborhood is not a great neighborhood if your house is the only house on the block that is taken care of. If all the houses around your block fall down, your neighborhood goes with it. The value of your home goes with your neighbor's home. If your neighbor don't keep up his property,
it affects you.
It affects you too. So if you got crime, like I listen to them, they talk about the Democrat state, the Democrat-run state. Well, ain't them Democrat, they're not Americans no more. They're not our concern. We criticize them, but what in the hell are the people that criticize them doing to help them? If you're not doing nothing to stop the violence in the street, if you're not doing nothing to stop the protesting, shut the hell up.
Fair enough. All right.
I could sit here all day long and criticize people, but what I'm doing personally to stop it, I'm using the crime in the street to vitalize them, to tear them down, to make them look bad. Why? Because they're not a part of my party. But then if the same stuff goes on in my neck of the woods, I'm going to ignore it. Because I don't want bad publicity in Florida, because Florida is ran by the Republic, for God's sake. Let's not talk about how many people die in Florida every year. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the crime in Florida, but let's talk about the crime in Portland, Oregon. Because the Portland, Oregon, they're not Americans no more.
All right. Well, Tony, we're running out
The
of
Republicans are not Americans, the Democrats. So what we should do, get rid of that unanimity.
We're just states of America.
There's no more unanimity. Erase that.
We're the SA.
Erase the United States of America, USA. Take the U away. Because to the rest of the world, they see everything in America but unity.
All right. Well, Tony, those are interesting closing thoughts. I found this episode interesting, not typical wrestling talk.
And I hope I didn't piss nobody off.
Well,
but you asked me.
Maybe pissing in Mr. Keen's sink.
You asked me.
That was the first episode. If you have questions, maybe once a month we could try and do an Ask Atlas. I think it's kind of fun to see your unique views of the world, whether we're talking about husbands that urinate in sinks or women that give out packets of oatmeal to try and keep trick-or-treaters
or
away.
kids that violate people's property.
There you go.
That's the important part that you're missing.
For the Hall of Fame of Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marty. If you have questions for future episodes, send us an email. It's in the graphic below, bw@bostonwrestling.com. We might be able to get your question on the air from the mind of WWE Bodybuilding and Life Hall of Famer.
No, you made a mistake.
What did I mean? What?
You said a man. I don't have one.
The what?
There's nothing up here.
Oh, don't say that. There's more, as Bill Eadie says, there's more than you know.
Yeah, if you can find it.
If you can find it.
I'm going to tell you something that you didn't know.
Let's hear it.
All right. They were selling brains. They had President Obama's brain. They wanted $500 for it. They had President Trump's brain. They wanted $500 for his brain. They had Tony Atlas' brain. They wanted $5 million.
And why is that?
That's what the guy asked. They said, how come Tony Atlas' brain costs is more than 2 American presidents?
It's so rare?
No. What the guy told him, that was selling the brain, he said, that's easy. It ain't been used yet. It's still in the box.
Yeah, it's a virgin. There you go.
It's still in the box.
It's almost like one of John Cena Sr.'s pieces.
Oh, there you go.
Talk about a happy Halloween. All right, folks, as we knock over the table for Tony Atlas.
Tony
and
Atlas
Marty,
brain is brand new, still in the box. Ain't been used yet.
we got the Patreon, we got the eBay, we got everything going on thanks to Matt Degnan, the Prodigy, Gabe Garrison, whatever his name is, I forget. He's got so many G's. With his hoodie that he came in wearing to try
they were gonna
disguise himself.
Hey, did you
What's
know
that?
they were going to give me a blood test? I stayed up all night to study for it.
And you failed.
Yeah,
There
they
you
told me if my IQ was 1 point less, I'd be a banana.
All right, well, we're going to see you in the produce section, I guess. All right, we'll see you next time, folks. Good night. All right, let's have you call this old Mark, and then we're going to get this thing ready for the Corners Cure kids, and then we're going to go.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Los Angeles Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California, Monday, March the 16th, 1987, where Entertainment Tonight was filming highlights and interviews to air before WrestleMania 3. In the opening contest, Outback Jack beat Frenchie Martin. Jacques Rougeau with the win over Bob Orton via disqualification. Blackjack Mulligan defeated Nikolai Volkov. The Iron Sheik victorious over Nick Kininsky. Raymond Rougeau battled Don Morocco to a time-limit draw. Hercules beat the Rebel Dick Slater, and in the main event, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Tito Santana, and Blackjack Mulligan, who replaced the Junkyard Dog, defeated WWF Intercontinental Champion Macho Man Randy Savage, Adrian Adonis, King Harley Race, and Butch Reed in an elimination match in Piper's farewell in Los Angeles before retiring at WrestleMania 3. If you were in LA live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling.